Telling stories of tzadikim and Chasidim is an important part of a Chasidic lifestyle. Isn't it more important to spend time studying Torah?
We can broaden the question to say Chasidim put emphasis on Chassidus, whether it's learning, whether it's telling stories, or it's some other aspect of Chassidus. Isn't it more important to learn Torah or do mitzvahs? And of course the answer is the whole purpose and point of Chassidus is to underscore, emphasize that in our Torah and in our mitzvahs there's a kesher with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, a relationship with the Eibishter. In other words, it's possible for a person to learn Torah and do all the mitzvahs and have very little sense of Hashem, which is behind that Torah, and Hashem, which is connecting to Him through those mitzvahs. And the whole purpose of Chassidus was to effect that when you learn Torah, you don't just understand the ideas, but you hear Hashem in that understanding. And when you do mitzvahs, you don't just do the rituals based on what's written in Shulchan Aruch, you appreciate how the mitzvahs tzafsa v'chibur, it connects you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's really what all of Chassidus is about. Chassidus is about making the Eibishter the pnimius of our Yiddishkeit. And you can say it in many ways. One of the ways of saying that statement, Chassidus wants to make the Eibishter the center of our Yiddishkeit, is that our Yiddishkeit should have humility, bittul. Another way of saying that is that making the Eibishter the center of our Yiddishkeit is that our Yiddishkeit should have simcha, should have chayit, should have emunah. But all of Chassidus is about, I'm sorry for using this cliche, bringing God back into Judaism. That when a Yid learns Torah and does mitzvahs and has a frum life, he's not just doing things and learning things, but he's involved with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he knows it. It's a conscious thing. Which is why by Chasidim so much time and effort and energy is placed into the Eibishter aspect of Yiddishkeit, into the Ruchniistic aspect of Yiddishkeit, which is called in the Lashon Chazal, G'dei Shimusha Yeser B'limuda. Anything which is called Shimusha Shel Torah. It's not learning Torah, it's not doing mitzvahs. But it serves Torah and mitzvahs. It serves Torah and mitzvahs in the sense that it's connecting the Torah to the Neisen HaTorah. And it's connecting to the mitzvahs to the Mitzvah HaMitzvahs. That means that in your Torah and your mitzvahs, you have a conscious sense of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's worthwhile to learn a little bit less Torah, to have a sense of HaKadosh Baruch Hu when you're limud Torah. And the same is true in your Kiyum HaMitzvahs. And that's what Chasidic stories are about. Because Chasidic stories, at the very, very least, the smallest level of Chasidic Sipurim is the stories of the tzadikim and the miracles that they performed. And the story of a tzadik and the miracle he performs jolts you into sensing lahavaya ha'aretz umleya. That even though the world seems to be a natural world, every miracle shows that the whole of the world and every instant belongs to the Eibishter. Particularly if you're telling stories that are not only about a miracle a Rebbe or a tzaddik performs, but a story about a tzaddik's life that reveals the Eibishter into this world. The purpose of all of this storytelling is to affect in the chassid that warmth and that joy and that humility that in his life or in her life there won't only be the doing of mitzvahs and the learning of Torah, there'll be the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the sense of Hashem's presence in a conscious way. And this is the Pshat Shimusha Shel Torah. And as we've talked about in an earlier segment, Chassidus is the Baal Shem Tovs. And the various different Chassidic movements use different packaging, different methods of bringing Chassidus to Chassidim. But in all cases, Chassidus is the same thing. That a Yid should not only connect to what Hashem told us to do and what Hashem taught us for us to understand, but to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu Himself, to feel it. Whether you use Simcha, or you use Avas Yisrael, or you use Chassidus Chabad, or whatever method you're using, this is the point of it all. And this is why by Chassidim, Sipuri Chassidim is such a big deal.